Slacktail Squad, assemble.
All right, well, this is the Slaptail Squad. This is the Slaptail Squad, and we're talking bigness, and that's okay. We're talking thickness, and yeah. But as the Swan said,
More cushion for the pushing.
Weight is relative, was what she meant to say, but then she said actually what she said was relevant. So maybe she meant to say relevant.
I did mean relevant, yes, because it's relevant to where you are. Like if you're on the moon, you probably weigh less than you do on Earth.
That's true. You weigh, I think,
in the pool,
weight, but
you weigh less.
But how does that relate to?
It also relates to the amount fat weighs less than muscle. Like if you have 5 pounds of fat, it's still 5 pounds of muscle. There's a lot more fat than muscle. I mean, like I'd take a nice lean steak over a big fat pound of steak.
Oh, I'd like some nice fat stranding through it.
Yeah. Quality steak, but
if you were about to say that, but you almost it sounded like you were about to say that 5 pounds of fat and 5 pounds of muscle do not weigh the same. And I was like,
no,
what?
I didn't. There's a heck of a lot more feathers than a rock.
Huh?
I mean, for a pound of feathers and a rock, whatever.
These are really loose associations. Now you're losing us. That's the Swan. That's the Swan. Thank you, Swan, for joining us. This is the Slaptail Squad, as I said, and I am the Beaveman, and I am master of the universe, ruler of all things, large and small. Large being my ego, small being my penis, and also general of the Slaptail Nation Army. Shout out to all of my minions. Thank you for everything that you do. And so with us is the beautiful Swan. Say hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan.
Also, my number 2. He smells like poo. I know, it's not nice. It's not nice, but it rhymes with
probably
poo.
Probably true.
Well,
you don't be blue.
Hey,
the rock.
Hey,
look at there we go. He was just waiting. He's like, I'm just waiting
for my name because last time I interrupted you, you yelled. And for those who don't know that, they're like, is he going to interrupt him? So he yells. I thought, I'll wait my turn. But so
stand in line, Ron. Stand in line.
So yeah,
that's nice.
So trending this week, I got my second shot, and I don't feel too good, but I am here.
Oh.
Just kind of tired.
Well, good job getting your second shot.
Yeah. It was great to stand in line and get poked.
That's what she said. No. Okay, that was it. I won't do it anymore. I just did it for sake of the Tremonde, since he's not here.
There's no stake up for no one because I keep telling you guys. I'm going to get a soundboard and I'm just going to start bleeping you motherfuckers.
You started this and now you don't like the way it goes. As a general, a leader of the Slaptail Nation, you can't dictate and then rescind something because everybody likes it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Actually, yes, you can. That's exactly
but if you liked it and everybody jumps on board, what are you, bipolar and don't like it now?
No, you got to change it up a little.
So you
keep it fresh.
So I agree. Like you got your suck up the Swan always agreeing with you.
I agree with you sometimes. When you're not completely crazy.
Crazy.
Ronz, what size shirt do you wear?
Oh, geez.
Hot cheese.
Yeah, I was going to say medium, large.
No, you don't, buddy.
Medium, large.
No.
Medium to large.
Medium, large. Medium in the chubby kids section.
Super
husky. Medium husky.
I used to weigh about...
It wasn't a question of how you supersize your meals. We were saying...
Oh, yeah, right. You know what? I used to weigh about 220, 230. That's no big thing now. All right. But now I'm down to about between 160 and 180. So.
That's a big varying range.
You have cancer? You have the cancer?
No,
How did you drop a freaking 50 pounds in a couple months?
Last year when I was training for my black belt. I've just never put the weight back on completely. Right? So I completely. No, seriously. I mean, when you first met me, Swan, I weighed about a good 220, right? And then I started training, sort of like, why you started losing weight.
If I may.
Yes.
If I may.
Yeah. Oh, yes, please.
You were not a good 220.
You were just 220. A good.
You probably weren't even.
Did you know on the moon I weighed less, so I didn't feel the need that I should have lost the weight?
See, we could all go to the moon.
But I lost the weight. I weigh about maybe 180 now. But
yeah, your range was like I'm 160 to 180. You're like I'm between 160 and 180. That's a big range.
You know what?
20 pounds. That's a huge range.
Pick a weight there. I don't care. So my shirt was anywhere from medium to large. I don't know.
Okay, so what size shirt?
Tag of the current shirt you're wearing, because it's a very important topic. Check the tag.
I will.
Yeah. We bought you a shirt. And we want to make sure it's the right size. So if it's not, I got to take it back. So obviously it's not the right size. We got to take it back.
So large? What size is your shirt there, Ronz?
I'm gonna let you know.
Get your glasses out, old man.
Yeah, well,
it's all right. It's all right.
That's okay.
Don't hurt yourself.
No, I'm not. And for those
not, he's gonna pull something.
Somehow he's gonna choke himself.
He's gonna. If you could see this, Ronz will be wearing a straitjacket shortly with his
amazing
shirt.
What else are you gonna? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do next, Houdini?
I don't know.
Next, Houdini?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. It says it says 100%
Pakistan.
cotton.
My size is Pakistan.
Yeah, my size is
Pakistan.
My
size is Pakistan.
This shirt says extra large.
Oh,
no,
funny.
No.
That's the size that we chose for you.
You know what? Honestly, I don't care. I honestly.
It is 100% cotton though, so it may shrink in the dryer.
Oh, I feel like we should probably just get him a large.
We should honestly, we can get both, and he can try it on, and then he can take. We can take back the one that does.
Honestly,
fit. And then he could anonymously wear whatever size.
This is what I do. I usually get a shirt larger than what I need, so my wife can wear it because she likes my clothes.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
Ronz, Ronz, I don't know if you know this.
She's busty.
Yes, she is.
She's busty.
Exactly, she is busty.
I'm going to save your ass for you, Ron, so you don't get kicked in the teeth.
Well, no, I'm not going to get kicked in the teeth because I know where the Beaveman was going with this. It's like, oh, really? No, my wife is busty, so any large shirts I get, she gets to wear, and I'm a happy.
I thought you were just going to say that you were not going to get kicked in the teeth because she can't kick that high.
No, she can.
She's got small legs. She's got short legs.
She's only 3 foot tall. She's only 3 feet tall.
She can do the splits, no problem. And
I don't think that her reach though can actually kick you in the teeth.
Her sidekick can when she steps in.
When she jumps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too.
Jumping side foot, flying side
and
foot.
And on top of that, she knows the body mechanics to basically pull me down to her size and pop me in the face. There you go. I've had it done before.
Nicely.
Right?
Nicely done. Nicely done. Mm-hmm. And without any assistance from anybody else, you just literally fall.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when we're wrestling.
That's what he calls it. Wrestling.
I wasn't even talking about that. I just meant on your own. You probably just fall.
I wrestle myself on my own going, that's a good hold there. And I tap out and then I don't hear and I choke myself out. And then, I wake up an hour later wondering what happens. That's how it goes.
He wakes up.
He's talking with Ronz. Oh, boy.
He wakes up, except at that time, his pants are around his ankles. And he's got, for some reason, his head and his neck are tied to his doorknob.
I have no idea where you got that from, but okay. Wow. That's amazing.
That's how some people choke themselves out.
Honestly, I would believe you after finding one of my neighbors hanging in his closet. I think that might have been the deal. That would have been one of those things.
Was he naked? Was pants down?
Honestly, he was fully clothed, but he was he committed suicide, and I found the body. And
well, I don't think that he was doing it in an erotic manner.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't care.
No, but they say now that they should actually go back and check out some of the cases in the past that they've labeled suicides because they think that a lot of them actually were erotic asphyxiation because they found a lot of people that were naked or had their pants off. And you're like, why would you kill yourself with your pants down around your ankles? Clearly, that's probably what they were doing.
Unless they
just made a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you would make a mistake on that, but hey.
If you fall forward, if you pass out, if you choke yourself too much and you pass out.
Oh.
Then you fall forward and you continue to choke yourself.
Okay. All right.
So the blood doesn't get to your brain, so you don't blood.
Just learned something new. Well, clearly that's not in his porn repertoire.
Porn repertoire. I had a vague idea of how it's done. I just, because you hear the term autoerotic asphyxiation, but you don't.
Look at me, I'm so important.
You don't know how it's done properly, and I didn't know there was a proper way to do it.
Well, clearly, what I'm saying
hang
is
yourself.
Well, that's what I just said. So there's obviously people who did it improperly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apparently so.
Ronz, have you ever pooped outside?
Yeah.
Ronz.
I want to know, just before I continue, where the hell do you come up with this question?
It was just
a valid question.
We're talking about autoerotic asphyxiation and everything, and I'm like, wow, just your mind is out there. Yes, I have. I've gone camping or outside, and of course you got to use what you got to use.
Don't use a pine cone.
Vitiligo of the penis? No, I did not.
That's random. I said pine cone, not vitiligo, but okay.
Harken back to an earlier conversation.
Yes,
that was good. That was good recall.
Good transition.
Now, do you find that pooping outside is far more enjoyable than pooping inside?
No.
Like, do you get a better evacuation? No, I do. That's
just for the simple reason I have books in my bathroom that I can read.
He likes to sit there and make a day of it.
Well, there's a series of books called The Bathroom Reader, and it's just trivial facts in it. But, while you're sitting there, what are you going to do? Right? So I have a couple of these books in my bathroom.
Express my anger on Facebook at you.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that. By the way, shout out to the Swans, who I did post the last podcast, of course, and I did write it backwards, a sentence for you.
I said mirror image, though, not
mirror
backwards.
Image backwards.
It's not the same. No. How it would look in the mirror. Like, when you look at an ambulance is written backwards.
Well, this is...
Like, as in, so that when you look in your rearview mirror, it says ambulance.
All right. If you want to be technical, I will try and write it backwards.
No, that's okay. You don't have to. No, I said mirror image, not backwards.
Mirror image. Okay, mirror image. I will write mirror image.
Now, what I was saying was, the reason why I asked is because I seem to have excellent poops when I hunt, because I have to poop outside. And most of the time I am basically in sort of a standing position. Like I'm crouching and I'll grab like a sapling and that's how I go. And I'm like, I think it's the angle. And those are when I have really good bowel movements. So I'm like, I was telling the Swan.
Well, if you're standing up or in a crouched position, your intestines aren't compressed.
So if you were a pole dancer, you could shit really well.
Yeah.
Hold on to the pole, squat down.
Somebody pays extra for that.
I'm sure they do.
But nasty. You guys both being in the medical field, when you sit down,
stop saying that.
Okay.
Just say that since you're both nurses, I get so tired of that. I'm not even going to tell you that. I watch these shows and people say that. I'm like, okay, just say what you are. Because when people say that, they are nothings in the medical field.
You know what?
Just say that both of you being nurses, because you're putting us in the same category of everybody else.
No,
I'm not a clerk. Okay, I actually am. Boy, but when you do that, that's what you're doing.
You know what
because I tell you the same thing over and over again.
What I was trying to do? I was trying to be discreet. Do you remember when we?
You don't have to be discreet. We already told you. You can say it.
I was just trying to be discreet for the podcast and your privacy. Right? You notice how I haven't said...
You're both nurses. All
right. I haven't said your name or the Swan's name, right? And you haven't bitched about it. And I was just being discreet about it. All right? So, yeah.
Except I've already told you to stop doing that.
All right. Fine. Fair enough. I'll quit being discreet. So, anyway. As you guys are both nurses, I mean, if you're standing up, you're not compacting your intestinal system. Am I correct?
Well, if you're sitting down, you're not impacting it either.
Well, muscle-wise, wouldn't you be compacting if you're sitting down?
It's just elongating. You're straightening out the curve. Yeah. You're straightening out the curve a little bit better. Yeah. But if you sit down, yes, there's an actual curve.
So you standing up.
You've got your ascending colon, you've got your transverse colon, you've got your descending colon going to your rectum. So
so you've got a more natural flow to it. If you're standing,
you got a straighter path. You got a little bit of a straighter path as a curve.
So what brought this topic about, other than
It's not a topic. I just asked you a question.
Okay, what brought this
question?
But I didn't even get to finish what I was saying because
all right,
you
go
went
ahead,
off on a tangent.
Finish what you're going to say.
Because I was saying to the swan, maybe I should just hold on to our doorknob and pinch off a loaf that way. Might be easier.
I mean, it's kind of makes sense because don't you look at like toddlers? They go stand behind the couch, squat down, and take a crap. I mean, that's what they do. They're in the nice squatted, standing position. So
true enough.
Let's poop like a toddler.
That look on their face, and their face gets all red. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Nothing.
So, what do you think about that squatty potty where you had, or whatever it was called, where you had that little stool in front and it boosts your fronts?
That makes sense because your feet go up, and I think that works probably pretty well. I mean, haven't you seen the commercial? Ice cream comes out way better that way.
The unicorn.
I'm not familiar.
Unicorn.
I mean,
look it up. Not now.
Oh no, of course not.
That's where soft serve ice cream comes from. Unicorns.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, Ronz, I got a question for you.
Another one. Wow, I am honored.
Yeah. Do you know the difference between an angel and an angle?
The spelling. One is
dyslexia.
Yeah, dyslexia.
That's funny. Did he really put that wrong? Did he write that wrong, or did you just make up that question?
What do you mean? Did he write it wrong? It's a joke I made up.
Oh, I know, but I was kind of thinking that you took it from something.
Do you understand
posted.
the joke?
I got the joke. Yes.
Did you even get it? Did you even get it?
Mixing up the L and the E. I got it, but I didn't know if it was something that Ron's posted and you were making fun of him just because.
No, actually, I was very careful about what I posted the last time. So I wanted.
No, but way to ruin the joke, though, Swan.
I didn't ruin the joke. I got the joke.
I just wanted to make sure that whatever I posted.
It's a joke, Swan.
I got it. I'm not very funny.
It's a joke. Way to overanalyze things. Nice job, overanalyzing.
Sorry, that's
things.
what I do.
I'd love to have you at my stand-up.
So anyway,
okay, Ronz, I want you to write this down, Ronz. Nope, moving on. I want you to write this down, Ronz. You and Swan both.
Oh no, I need papers and pens.
These are your responses.
Oh no.
Okay, so these are the I swear to God.
You want to kill me?
Here's the responses. Listen carefully.
Okay.
Here's your answers to the questions. Okay, you can only respond through one of these. All right. So it's either never.
Ooh.
Okay, write that down.
Never.
Got that?
Got it.
Okay. Rarely.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sometimes.
Uh-huh.
What am I studying?
Often.
Am I studying for the SATs?
Perhaps.
This is what you had to do on the SATs?
No.
Often.
No.
Hello.
Often. Yeah, you can't do that.
Always.
And no, very often.
Very often. Where's always? Okay.
Okay, got those? You got those responses? Whoever's making all that noise on their mic needs to stop.
It's Ronz. He sounds like Darth Vader.
No, they're moving the mic. They can hear it. All right, so I'll write this down.
Yep, it's Ronz because he just did it again. He can't help himself.
I got to touch the mic because it's big.
Stop it. All right, are you ready? It's not timed or anything. Just think about the questions, okay?
Never.
I don't know if I can
Got it?
do it.
Sometimes.
Don't
so
answer.
I'm just gonna ask Ronz the questions for now.
Okay. And I don't.
You don't have to answer these questions, Swan. You don't have to do anything. No. Okay.
I won't.
Just
I won't do anything. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Stop moving.
Stop
Ron.
playing with your swing.
I didn't
touching your swing arm.
I didn't touch the mic. I didn't
do it.
We can hear your swing arm moving. So as much as you move, clearly, with your mass between 160 and 180, is causing a seismic event inside your room.
All right. Fantastic.
All right.
Okay. Ronz?
Yes. That would be me.
Ronz.
He knows his name.
Yes, just looking at me doesn't indicate that the audience knows what you're doing. You're like, yes, no. How often do you have trouble wrapping up the final details of a project once the challenging parts have been done?
I can't even stay focused for that question.
I can. I would say sometimes.
Does he need to take notes of this? Is he supposed to write his answers down?
Who said he needs to take notes?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
I have the clipboard, so you
will
be.
So on that question,
I have the microphone.
If I'm just answering for a question, I would say rarely. But if I'm answering because of me, I'd say sometimes.
What the fuck does that mean? This is like you're.
Ronz, I'm actually asking you the question. So answer for you. Who are you asking? Who would you be answering? The mouse in your pocket? Who else would you be answering for?
Well,
I have a pet armadillo. I was answering for him. Fuck, what the hell are you talking about, Ron?
I would. What was the question again, there, officer?
Focus, Ron.
I would say sometimes.
Great.
I mean, I already forgot the question too. To be honest,
your original answer that. Okay, all right.
Sometimes.
Next question. Are you sure of that?
Am I supposed to be answering too?
No.
Do you want my answer?
Can you sit still? No, but can you sit still?
I can't. No.
All right. Can you sit still?
I constantly shake my leg, don't I?
All right. Okay. Listen.
Okay. Listen, Ronz.
Why do you want to answer that question? You don't even remember the question. You want to answer it too?
I was going to say, if you do, I need to repeat the question. Or do I get to do my own? Am I doing it next?
No, you... I'll just ask you the same question, all right?
Okay. Pay attention, right.
Swan. Swan. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Rarely, sometimes,
How often
or never.
do you...
Shut up, Ronz. It's my turn.
Okay.
How often do you have trouble wrapping up the final details of a project once the challenging parts have been done?
Ooh, I feel like I'd save the challenging parts for last. Like, I want to get the easy shit out of the way first.
Answer.
Okay, I'm going to go with often.
You just said you do the other stuff first, so how could it be often?
I don't know, because I might not even get to the challenging part. You said how many times do you find it difficult to wrap up the challenging parts?
No. That's not what I said. What I said was...
Do it again.
How often do you have... I'm just going to put my own answer in here because you don't understand the question. How often do you have trouble wrapping up the final details of a project once the challenging parts have been done?
Oh. I'm still going with often.
Okay. All right. Now we've made it through one question. Okay. Ronz.
Go Swan. Ronz, it's your turn.
Oh, okay.
Wake up.
Ronz, how often...
I'll be quiet over here.
How often do you have difficulty getting things in order when you have to do a task that requires organization? I'll just answer this one for you. No, it's good. All right.
Somewhere between sometimes and often.
Uh-huh. There's no in between. I can't mark a black line. Just pick one.
Sometimes.
Do I have a different color than Ron's? How are you going to know which ones are my answers and which ones are his?
I have 2 sheets. I have 2 sheets with your name on it.
Why the hell am I being psychologically examined?
You're not. We're
Why not?
Oh, great.
Do you know what's funny? Wait, hold on. Do you know what's funny? When everybody asks us a question like, hey, Swan, I have a question for you. Do you know what my answer is? It's 6 every time. Like, hey, Swan, I have a question for you. I'm like, 6? Like, I seriously do that all the time.
I thought it was you invented the color blue.
Well, that is a response when people are assholes to me and they have to be one-uppers. So that's a random statement that comes out, not a question. But when everybody asks, like, I have a question for you, and I always say 6 before they. You know what my
answer is? You know what my answer is to
go fuck yourself.
All the complaints that the Swan has when this doesn't work right, or this, or she's got this problem. I'm like, this would be remedied because of this. If you had more of this, that would help you.
Yeah.
All right, so
Ron's
are you going to answer this question?
Are you going to answer that? Are you going to tell him what those blank statements that you
give
made
us. Well, then why don't you just do one of your things then?
Like what? What kind of thing? I don't remember what you were like. What do you say?
Something like, oh, my back and shoulders hurt really bad.
Oh, my back and shoulders hurt real bad.
You know what would help?
What can I do about it? What would help with that? What Was it my turn to answer the question, or was it
Yes,
Ron's?
it's your turn, Swan.
Can you repeat the question? I forgot. No.
Sure. How often do you have difficulty getting things in order when you have to do a task that requires organization?
Rarely. I can get them in order. I just don't want to do the task. I like to make lists.
That's just asking. It's
okay.
It's
well, I'm just telling you. I'm pretty organized. I got lots of lists.
I'm not elaborating.
Okay, well,
I'm not elaborating. It's just a question.
I am elaborating. Collaborating.
Ronz.
Yes, that's who I am.
Ronz, how often do you have problems remembering appointments or obligations?
Like what? Remembering them or getting to them on time?
I said, how often do you have problems remembering appointments or obligations?
Rarely.
Alrighty. Swan.
Well, hold on. Let me think about that one real quick.
Swan.
I think remembering. Ooh. Well, it depends on what kind of obligation it is.
Yeah. It's not it's not asking you to elaborate.
Well, I'm going to go with rarely as well.
Okay.
Sometimes my
really
life overlaps my appointments, because I've got to be at 3 different places.
His schedule is very challenging and very busy.
Sometimes it is. And I am, like today was...
Can you be in 2 places at once? Because it would be really cool if you could.
You can. Actually, you can.
You can? No, you can't.
Right?
No,
all right, where am I?
Can't.
Am I doing a podcast? And I could broadcast this around the world right now if we really designed it.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean you're in 2 places at once. Don't be ridiculous.
Physically, no. Ethereal, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's not part of the question there, but thank you for contributing that bizarre information.
That's why we're here.
Ron, right. Your turn again.
Ron,
yes,
your turn again.
I am here for you.
All right. When you have a task that requires a lot of thought, how often do you avoid or delay getting started?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right. Swan, same question.
I'm going to go with sometimes.
All right. Ronz.
That's me.
How often do you fidget or squirm with your hands or feet when you have to sit down for a long time?
Often.
Oh, God.
Often.
Because...
Where's always? I'm going to go with always.
Because always is a definitive term. That's why it's not.
Well, I always.
Is there a
never time that I sit still? Yeah, but why is never?
Very often.
Never on there. I can.
Because never allows you to eliminate that.
For those tuning in, this is the Swan Beaveman marital relationship couples therapy. So far, Swan has been right.
I'm just going to answer for you.
Ron, does my shirt look like it's a penis?
I can't see your shirt.
Look, you can't. Yes, you can.
I
right
see
there.
the top of it.
Yeah, doesn't it look like a penis? That's what.
No, actually, it doesn't.
Penis? What does it look like?
It looks like a
middle finger.
Yeah, I'd go with that shape.
I'll give you a little more. Ready? What next?
It looks like an X-wing.
It's like 2 fingers. What's up?
2 fingers. Like 2 fingers. Go. Good job, Ron. Good job.
X-wing.
Okay, did you answer for me? Because
I answered that it was an X-wing.
Very often. But because I can't pick always.
Okay.
Did you know I'm pretty sure I do things that I don't even know that I do. Like when I lay in bed at night and you yell at me to stop moving my feet, I don't even know I'm moving them.
You're probably not. He just wants someone to yell at.
No, I move them, but I don't consciously pay attention to. I when you point it out, I know I'm doing it. Just like I sit there and I shake my leg if I'm sitting.
Do you have was it restless leg syndrome?
I mean, I'm not formally diagnosed.
Look at me. I want to play doctor.
Yeah, Ron. Do you want to give
me
a
my name's Ron, and I want to play doctor.
Well, no. I mean, it's a condition. I've heard about it.
Yeah, but I feel like you need a neurological exam for that, and I'm not going to go do that. Okay. But I do not sit still a lot.
Well, also, when you don't sit still, when you're fidgeting, one of the studies that have been done is when your brain is shutting down, right? And you're basically...
I find it amazing that neither one of you can focus on what we're trying to talk about right now. See how you're going off on a tangent there, Ron?
You're not the one going, hey, I have a question. You're the one being quiet. So you know what? You want to jump in the conversation, continue it. Other than that, let us just talk there, Beaveman. So anyway, you can... Do you have a question, Beaveman?
Yes, I do, actually.
I'm here.
I have 18 in total, and you knuckleheads have made it through 5.
So that means
we're doing good then, Ronz.
We're doing good. 13 more to go.
And we are 30 minutes into the podcast.
18, so we have 13 more. Look, I can do math.
Excellent. All right. Ronz, how often do you feel overly active and compelled to do things
ever
like you were driven by a motor?
Often.
You just choose to ignore them.
Well,
it's all going on in the head, but it's not actually manifesting.
Okay, first of all, can you repeat?
Let me tell you something.
No, repeat.
Can you repeat the question? He wants to change his answer.
No, it sounded like you cut it out. You cut out there, and then I want to make sure.
So you just answered. So instead, you just answered something.
No, I interpreted the question
you did like my father does.
I interpreted the question one way, and I want to make sure it's the right answer. That you, for me,
there is no right or wrong.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Okay,
but.
Gotcha. All right, okay. How often do you feel overly active and compelled to do things like you were driven by a motor?
Often.
Okay. That didn't change your answer. How about you, Swan?
Do you want to answer for me on that one? Because I feel like I should do them, but I don't necessarily do them. So
that's not what it says. It says, how often do you feel overly active and compelled to do things like you... It doesn't say that you did them. It says, how often do you feel overly active and compelled to do things like you were driven by a motor?
I'm going to keep my sometimes.
That can include what's going on in your mind. That doesn't mean that you're
Well, then I guess
around.
Very often, because my brain doesn't shut the fuck up. Like, I do my best work while I'm trying to go to sleep about thinking about what's going on, but do I actually
I don't ever
do
see
them?
you do any work before you go to sleep. I don't actually see
I've made notes before.
Okay.
Why does it sound like there's an elephant in the fucking basement or something? Do you hear that?
There is no elephant in our basement.
Do you hear that noise?
What noise?
Yeah, I think it's the echo in the room that you are in right now, because I think you're getting a little bit loud in your mic. I can hear like a humming.
I can't.
No, it sounds like there's a horn or something.
Well, maybe it's not the echo. Maybe it is actually outside or something.
Maybe there's some annoying children outside with a freaking horn. Probably. Okay, anyway. I just wanted to make sure nobody else heard the elephant.
Okay, I made it through one additional question. That took over 2 minutes.
Okay,
just so
good
you
job,
both
Ronz.
know.
I feel like we have a concentration problem.
Genius.
All right, you're not telling me that you can't hear that. I can totally hear it.
No, I told you I could hear it.
Okay, all right. Somebody got a trumpet.
Yes,
that's what it sounds like. How often do you make careless mistakes when you have to work on a boring or difficult project? Or in your case, any project? Hi-yo!
According to me, what's my answer on that?
Never.
Rarely, because I think I'm doing the right job. However, according to my peers,
no,
all the time.
It just matters what you say.
No, it does not.
No,
and you've proven.
Yes, it does. This is a self-assessment. It's not an assessment of me or others assessing you.
I would be taking the test for myself. Instead, it's the Beaveman administering it, right? So it's not self-assessment.
It's administered by a medical professional.
No. A nurse. A nurse. Don't lump them all into one.
I said.
Right? That's insultive. Or so I've been told.
Not just a nurse, actually an expert nurse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you want to answer that then?
What was the question?
You think rarely then?
Could you repeat the question? I'll pay attention so that you don't have to repeat it for me.
How often do you make careless mistakes when you have to work on a boring or difficult project?
Rarely.
Who's clicking away? Who is that? Who can't stop? Who can't focus long enough?
I purposely picked a non-clicking pen because that is another thing that I do. I click a pen like a maniac, and I don't even realize I do that.
Ron's is playing with his mouse.
I'm gonna say never. I do not make mistakes.
No, you're meticulous.
Even if it's boring, I am meticulous.
You don't make mistakes. You say never?
I'm saying never. I mean, probably in reality it's rarely, but I'm going to give myself a never on that one because I don't make careless mistakes.
Okay.
I'm over calculating.
I'd say,
even on mundane, boring.
On boring No, it's related sometimes. I know that can't be a mental.
You can't change your answer, Sean.
All right, fair enough.
Change your answers, really. Okay. How often do you have difficulty keeping your attention when you are doing boring or repetitive work?
Sometimes.
I can't even keep my attention to do fun work. No, I'm going to go often.
Stop clicking.
I still want to know. Nobody's clicking, but I do hear.
Yes,
the
he is.
Horn
he keeps
still.
playing with his. No, he keeps playing with his.
Look
mouse.
at his hand is right there. 2 hands.
He's
Hold
lying.
him up, Ron.
He's clicking on shit.
He's gonna click with his other parts. We don't want to know what he's clicking with. His penis piercing.
He's hiding it. He's trying to hide it.
I would say often.
Not even. What the? You already answered.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough. Answering the next question.
I'll change your answer. That's fine. I don't care. I'll change your answer.
If it was sometimes or often, okay, go ahead.
You have that right to change your answer. It's okay. All right. How often do you have difficulty concentrating on what people say to you? Oh my God. Even when they are speaking to you directly.
Oh, I'm going to go very often. I don't even need you to finish that sentence. Does that count as not paying attention?
I would say often. I wouldn't say very often. I make it a point to focus on them. I really do.
I'm going to get that kid a mute for his trumpet. It's really fucking awful. I don't even know if that really is a trumpet, but it's terrible.
Hold on. I don't hear what you hear, but I do have a heater.
Do you need a bathroom break?
No, hold on.
It sounds like there's some echo of something, but it does sound like a horn, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
I am running a small heater in this room because it's cold.
It's not. It's outside of my area. It's outside of my house. Pretty sure.
Not necessarily. I mean, you could be hearing it.
Is it the wood chipper?
Machine sound.
No, you're a weirdo. That was a compliment, Ron.
I'm just taking one. I'm just taking one headphone out to see if I hear anything. No, it's coming
outside.
Through. It is not. It is coming through here, unless you're hearing it up there because I can't hear anything.
It's in his head.
I don't
All right,
know.
ready?
No.
All right.
It's
How
outside.
often do you misplace or have difficulty finding things at home or at work?
Sometimes.
I wasn't paying attention. Can you repeat the question?
How often do you misplace or have difficulty finding things at home or at work?
Very often. I'm very unorganized.
Yeah, because you're not organized.
But
at work, I'm sure
I'm
you're
organized.
At home,
no, yeah.
No, you are not. You never know where anything is because you have no organization whatsoever. You only know where stuff is if I put it in the same spot all the time.
No, but you move my stuff and then I don't know where it is, and then it makes me angry.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Ron, I have a question for you.
Oh, yeah, sure, often.
No. How did you come up? Well, I already probably know the answer to this question, I think, now that I just overthought myself. But how did you come up with the name for your child?
That's obvious.
Actually...
I just... thought of it after, but then I was like, oh, well, that maybe wasn't really why.
Actually, his name was given to him on the fly.
Because he's like, whoa, my name is Ron. No. So I can't come up with a better name. I thought he was going to be a boy. Why are you clapping?
My name is Ron, and I'm going to name my child.
No.
After me.
So what happened about the name was we thought we were having a girl.
See, that's what I just said. And then he came out and he was a boy, and you're like, "Oh, we're not gonna name him Shirley."
No, the name was Priscilla after my mother-in-law. Right, that's what Carrie.
That's a really long. That's a weird long name. Priscilla after my mother-in-law.
Well, Carrie wanted the name, and I was all
Priscilla. What was his middle name going to be? Her
after my mother-in-law.
I don't know. I honestly don't know because when they said
that's as bad as that's as bad as after my mother-in-law.
Yeah, when they go, what do you want to name your son? I said, my son, and they go, yes, you have a boy, and I'm like, oh. And
his penis was so small on ultrasound that they didn't.
No, during the ultrasound he was turned. He was turned, so you couldn't determine the sex of the baby.
So they just saw his butthole and they thought it was a girl.
Well,
that's her vagina.
I don't know anything about that, but that's the way it went. So they said, "What do you want to name your son?" And I'm like,
and he's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna name
we hadn't discussed.
So then I don't get confused.
No, we hadn't discussed about having a son, a boy name. We hadn't, and all of a sudden it was just wow.
I mean, I feel like that would be more reason to discuss a boy and a girl name because you couldn't tell on ultrasound. You'd be like, we better have this backup option just in case.
It was one of those things where you're having a girl. I'm like, okay, we're having a girl. Let's go with it. And then it came out a boy. And okay. I mean, the love and for the child was still there. I just didn't have a name.
I just love him less because he's a boy.
Jesus, what the fuck is wrong with you? Did you even have to? Is that something that you even had to say?
Yeah, I did actually, because in some countries,
smother it. He's a boy. Seriously.
So anyway, how did you come up with the daughter's name?
The fuck? Focus, guys. Focus. We're on
you asked me
question 11.
You asked me the
name. The Beaveman came up with the daughter's name. I wanted to name her after myself, but not really. I wanted to name her Olivia Kristen because Kristen was my middle name. But then Beaveman's mother's name is Olivia. But I liked that name before we were even together. I liked Olivia. Okay. But now every child in the world is named Olivia, so I'm kind of glad we didn't name her that.
When you named the daughter, were you keeping a theme here of like same initial names?
No, not at all. I didn't. If she was a boy, you should have heard her name. Beaveman wanted to name her Thor or Thunder. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get that kid's ass kicked. Like, it's gonna come out a scrawny little kid, and then like, but this big old Thunder. I'm like, dude's gonna get his ass kicked the whole time. So thank God she was a girl.
Thunder's a cool name.
You weren't gonna let me name her that anyway. You weren't gonna let me name it that anyway.
Well, I mean,
so why always bring it up? You always bring it up, and I'm like, yeah, but you wouldn't have let me do that.
I'm like, those are dogs' names, not like freaking human names, like Thunder.
Well, I think she would have made a very good pro wrestler one day. I mean,
porn star.
I wouldn't have gone that route, but yeah, I think a wrestler.
Okay, so now that we know how you name your children, how do you name your pets? Is there like a random name generator?
Would it be okay if I ask question 11?
Carry on. We can come back to that later on. Think of your answer.
This is a really good question.
But, this is about the Beaveman telling us.
This is a really good question.
We can't hear you. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. Okay, go on.
This is a really good question. It's very apt now after you've had your little tangent.
Okay.
How often are you...
That's a math term.
How often are you distracted by activity or noise around you?
Very often.
Very often. Very often.
I can still do my work though with noise, but no, I can't. I don't like to cook with music on like you do. Like, I don't like that. I like it silent.
I just meant you guys can't even have a conversation without being distracted. You guys are like that dog on Up. Where's the squirrel?
Dory. We're like Dory. Just keep swimming. Whoop. Squirrel. Okay.
Wow, I can use the next question. I do.
You can. We paused for dramatic silence for you.
What are you clicking on now, Ronz? Why you always try to hide it too? And then you try to act like you're not doing anything.
I was clicking the pen.
No,
he's looking up stuff too.
No, I was looking.
Stop Googling.
Okay, I was looking at my notes.
You needed to remember never, rarely, sometimes, often, or very often.
Well, back to that attention thing, yes. Anyway, continue, Beaveman.
Okay.
Just drink your chocolate milk.
How often do you leave your seat in meetings or other situations in which you are expected to remain seated?
Rarely.
Ooh, I gotta hold my hands down sometimes. I'm
rarely. Ron says rarely.
I'm gonna go with rarely, but I fidget the whole time.
Okay, that's not the question.
If the chair moves, if the chair rocks, it's gonna be rocking.
But that's not what I asked.
I mean, I'm not gonna get up.
Okay, there's more questions.
Rarely.
And they're probably gonna relate to you, so just listen up.
Okay, listening.
There you go. Question number 13. Mm-hmm. How often do you feel restless or fidgety?
Very often. Ron, do you have a fidget spinner?
No, I do not.
Can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
No, I cannot.
Me either.
Well,
can you walk upright?
Well, you know what? If you take it apart and put it back together, if you want to count that.
That doesn't count. No, that doesn't count. And people who peel the stickers off piss me off.
Well, it fucks it all up.
Yeah,
or if it's one color, yeah.
Why would you have a Rubik's Cube that's one color? Solved!
Yeah, there you go. It's
Rubik's Cube for dummies.
There you go. I'll admit to that.
That's what I'm getting you for Christmas, Ronz.
Please.
I mean, it does kind of make sense.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they probably do sell those. I mean, he's probably not wrong.
No.
I think it would be cool to have one that's all one color, but it under a black light, it would be different colors. So you could mess it up or like something like that. It would be like hologrammed, but under another.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Like
Ultraviolet.
in the dark.
So you take like a $5 toy, and you're gonna have to go buy a bunch of other equipment just to.
Or how about glow in the dark, and like each side is different in the dark, because like glow in the dark has different colors.
Yeah, but you would still have the glow in the dark stickers or the paint show up as a different color.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But
in the daytime, so it wouldn't be one solid color.
Okay,
like
I'm just thinking outside of the box a little bit.
Fantastic idea.
We're coming up with something that it makes it look like you solved it, but it doesn't. That would piss me off. Like go in the dark.
Or you could buy it already solved and just put it on the shelf and say, "I solved it."
How about a red-green Rubik's Cube for people who are red-green colorblind, so it looks like just one color?
That would be terrible.
Actually, a bit of a trivia fact.
Done.
No, that was a problem when the NFL went to solid colors for one of their games for red and green, and the colorblind players said it was a lot more difficult to play the game.
Like, what was the color? Red
and green, but they were colorblind.
What? Yeah, but what was color coded?
Nothing, right? So, the uniforms and the helmets.
Oh, so they didn't know who was on their team? They're like, this guy's charging at me, but he's on my team. Oh, no, don't tackle him. No.
Yeah.
Don't you know who's on your team?
But you would still know the difference. But you would have to have red and green on yours and on theirs. And they would have to look exactly the same.
Well, no. Well,
for you not to know who the other people are.
Well, if red and green come up as gray as one solid color.
But still, don't you know what your team's uniforms look like in comparison to the other team? And don't you know the people you play with?
Well, I'm not.
If they're all mixed up in a pile, nobody knows.
I'm not disputing what you're saying.
Don't punch that guy in the nuts. He's wearing green.
The football was red and green.
No, the uniforms.
The field is green and the football was red.
Sure, why not? Why not?
So they couldn't see it.
Why not?
They couldn't see
it.
So
do you know what I hate? When they started putting the thing on the hockey puck, remember back in the day?
But they stopped doing that, thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness.
That?
Because I didn't
what
like.
Did they put?
Like when you watch hockey and they colored the puck, not in real life, but like on the TV screen when you were watching on
not
TV.
In real life? They didn't do it in real life?
No, not on the ice, but on the TV and on the screen when you were watching it in playback mode.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big hockey fan.
And you could see when they shot it. I'm like, what are they doing? I hate that. It's stupid. Annoying. Don't do that. Okay.
Okay. All righty.
Do you have more questions?
Okay. Yeah, we're on question 14.
We're doing good. Ronz, we're doing good.
We are.
Yeah, I can't even analyze it, but
just wait until we get our score.
The whole thing.
We probably failed.
How often do you have difficulty?
There's no wrong or right answer.
You don't fail it. How often do you have difficulty unwinding and relaxing when you have time to yourself?
Often.
Sometimes.
I always say I want to take a nap, but then I'm like a bad napper.
How are you a bad napper?
I can't fall asleep. I just lay there and then I get up and I have to go to the bathroom and I try to relax and by the time I'm okay, you got 40 minutes. I'm gonna set an alarm for 40 minutes, but I'm 35 minutes in before I'm even ready to fall asleep. And then you're like, shit, I gotta get up.
I would say sometimes. Whatever the question was, sometimes.
Yeah, but you already said that. All right. How often? Okay. All right.
Stop
I was
trying
just,
to make.
I was just letting myself. No, I was just letting myself get interrupted a few times just so you guys got used to it.
That's fantastic.
I got a question for you, Ron. Since I was just thinking about last week how I was talking about Darth Vader's dun 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 dun
the theme song.
Every time he comes on, it plays. Would you want a song like that for yourself?
Yeah, who doesn't?
I mean, or do you think it would be annoying? Because I really think it would be kind of cool to have my own intro song every time I walked in the room. But then at the same time, I think it would be annoying because it's distracting.
Well, if you're pissed off at the world, just think about your own theme song. As you came in, everybody would know the Swan is pissed off. Don't mess with her, right? So,
but why do I gotta be pissed off? I mean, Darth Vader isn't always pissed off
yes,
when he walks into the room. No, he's not. He's angsty sometimes and whatever, but sometimes he's just walking around and like, I'm a badass. He's like, dun,
yeah,
dun,
well,
dun,
it would let
dun,
everybody
dun,
know
dun.
he's a badass. I mean, honestly, if you look at the Beaveman, I think the Rainbow Bright theme song might be his intro, but
what is the Rainbow Bright theme song? If
yeah,
you know this by heart, you're fucking weird.
No, it's a cartoon from the I think 80s.
I know what Rainbow Bright is. I don't know the theme song. Then why'd you bring that up?
Because I think it makes.
Then how's it apropos?
Whoa! What's with the $5 word there, Beaveman? Apropos? Do I look educated?
I don't even know. How do you even spell that word?
That's not what mine would be. Mine would be the He-Man theme song.
I think that'd be cool.
How's that go? I don't know.
Yeah, no one can distinguish you from Prince Adam and He-Man. I mean, you look like the triplet that was lost in time.
What are you eating?
I'm He-Man Dark.
Speaking of Star Wars, did you know John Ratzenberger started Star Wars? Cliff from Cheers was in that movie.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of.
No, but he was in the original Star Wars.
Who was he?
He might.
I don't know. He was I just thought I'd bring up that random fact.
He was in the second one where he was at the Hoth ice base.
I thought that was him, but are you sure that was really him? Because I saw the names.
Yeah, it's him. Actually, there's an action figure after him as well.
Fascinating.
It was.
All right. These last few questions, I'm sure, are going to be relevant for you guys.
All right.
Ready? How often do you find yourself talking too much when you are in a social situation?
Can I answer for Ronz?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Ronz, I'm going to go with very often. He just, Ronz feels the need. Ronz gets verbal diarrhea in a social situation. Know what?
I would say often for the simple reason, I went to a corporate dinner with my wife. And we're all sitting around the table, and no one is talking.
That's why? Because that's the reason why?
No, but it's one of those things where everybody's just...
He's just giving an example.
And everybody's just being quiet. No one's being social, right? And I turn around, I'm like, okay, let me ask you a question.
Oh, what was your question? Please.
Did you know, he's like, did you know male ducks have penises?
No, I kept it on the PG level. And I said...
That is so PG. What was the question?
Yeah, I think it was like, if you could meet any movie star, who would it be and why? Right? And that got everybody talking.
I'm sure these corporate nerds want... Really? That worked? Because I'm like...
Well, and I showed the Beaveman when I was in the studio one day about the pack of random cards, the cards I have of random conversation starters. Right? And it was...
Did you get that at like a self-help class?
No, I got that at the Goodwill. But it's really cool.
All right.
But yeah.
So what is your answer, Swan?
I don't remember the question again. Sorry.
How often do you find yourself talking too much?
Expects me to fill the air.
How often do you find yourself talking too much when you are in social situations? I don't know. You talk a lot. In social situations. Yes, you do. But I'm going to move on.
I'm going to give myself a rarely, though, because I don't want to engage in conversation with random.
Also, it's people I know.
This one is going to be.
I've been in a social situation in well over a year.
I already know the answer to this next question for the Swan.
I don't even want to hear the question because he's going to be mean to me.
For the next three, actually.
Oh,
all right.
Well, you probably should know the answers to all of my questions because you know me.
But it's a self-assessment.
Wait, hold on. I was going to tell a story before we get started.
We're at 53 minutes into the podcast, and I'd like to wrap the podcast up in about an hour and 10 minutes, but that's fine.
So,
Ronz, have you ever been stuck in an elevator?
No, I haven't.
I wasn't either, but I haven't been. But
that's so awesome that you've never been stuck in an elevator.
I brought this up because I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday or maybe it was Thursday. I don't know. One of the days this week, I never ride the elevator. It's only up one floor, but I was walking into work and this patient in a wheelchair was trying to get in. So I figured I'd be nice and like push him in. And I'm like, where are you going? And of course he had to go to the second floor. So I was like, obviously got to ride the elevator for that. And I hate the elevator because it's rickety and old and it goes really slow. And every time I'm in it, I feel like I'm going to get stuck. So then one of my coworkers got in with me because he's like, oh, you don't want to be alone with the patient in the elevator because that might be weird. And I'm like, no, dude, you're probably just fucking lazy and want to take the elevator. So anyway, we're in the elevator. take the patient up, deliver him back down. And then he wants to ride the elevator. He's like, I'll hold the elevator. I'm like, can't we just walk down the stairs? And he's like, well, now that we're in there, we might as well just ride it down. I'm like, you're so fucking lazy. But anyway, so he's like, I'm like, I hate this elevator. It always feels like it's going to get stuck. He's like, I'd be okay with that. I could just take a nap. He's like, I got my lunch. I got, water, whatever. I'm like, dude, I'd go fucking nuts if I was stuck in the elevator. I don't even think I could sit still that long.
Oh, well, as long as you've got something to do. I
have a phone. I had food, but I still wouldn't want to be stuck in the elevator. I would go crazy.
Well, you wouldn't have far to fall from if one of the cables cut loose.
Did you say I'm going crazy?
No.
I don't have a far to fall. You don't have a far to go.
You don't have
You're almost there.
Yeah, you're going to cut loose, but yeah, no.
Well, I wouldn't even be worried about that. I just wouldn't want to be stuck in there.
Are you claustrophobic?
Like, I'm not claustrophobic. Well, I don't know. Maybe, no, I probably am. I don't know. If I had a cast on, I would be one of those people that cut that shit off. I would not be able to handle that.
I've had a cast on.
I don't want to be restrained. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
Might not be claustrophobic, but I don't want to be restrained.
Awesome. So, no, I understand where you're coming from on that.
Why do you look like you're following? 3 questions? Do you want to answer my elevator question? Would you go to sleep, or would it drive you nuts?
If I was stuck in an elevator?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
pretty sure you just want to fuck.
With some dude in a wheelchair? No, I don't think so.
Wow, that's...
With me, dummy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, yeah.
See, he wasn't even paying attention.
You could join the first floor club. Yeah, you could join the first or second floor club.
Okay, here we go.
And the guy in the wheelchair could watch.
That's gross. We just turn them around, Ronz. Blindfold him.
All right. When you're in a conversation,
like right now.
How often do you feel yourself finishing the sentences of people you are talking to before they can finish themselves?
Very often. Did you answer that? Did I answer it the way you expected me to? Or did you answer it that way for me?
I can tell you personally that annoys me. But
doesn't stop you from doing it.
Wait, what do you do? Wait, what was the question? I don't remember because
I usually wait for them to finish their.
So your answer is what?
Oh, my answer.
What was the question?
Sometimes, because I won't say I won't do it, but it's sometimes.
So I feel like if you say it's that way, your answer should be rarely.
When you're in a conversation, how often do you find yourself finishing the sentences of the people you are talking to before they can finish them themselves? It doesn't mean you're saying what they would have said. It means you're just finishing their sentences.
I'm
interrupting them and finishing them.
I would go
very
sometimes.
Often.
I'll go middle of the road sometimes because I am guilty of that, but not often.
Okay.
He says he doesn't do it, but then
I said I do it.
I
do it sometimes. I really do, but I don't do it often.
Do you think everybody does it? I feel like everybody does that.
I mean, Beaveman does it for me.
We didn't say that you didn't.
Not only when your answers are dumb.
We're asking how often you do it. It's an assessment. It's not saying nobody does it. That's why the answer is never, rarely, sometimes, often, or very often.
Do you think there are people that never do that? Probably not.
Oh, I get it done to me all the time. I just don't like it. I just look at them and it's like, when can I finish my answer?
So, do you know those questions where they're like, if you're stranded on a desert island, what would you bring with you? What 3 people would you hate to be stuck on the island with? Like, and what would you do to them? Would you kill them right away, or would you keep them around for
58 minutes? 58 minutes, and I'm not through this test.
Well, it's your fault, not ours. We're answering all your questions. You're just slow on the uptake.
Yeah, you're just.
Ho!
Oh, you can't do hi-oh. Okay, last 2. Countdown.
2.
We're getting close. When do we get our answers?
How often do you have difficulty waiting your turn in situations when turn taking is required?
Rarely.
It depends on what turn taking it is. I mean, if it's the line for the herpes test, heck yeah, you can go first. Into the haunted house, go first. I'll wait my turn. But the bathroom line, might need it.
Why is there a line for a herpes test?
I just made that up. This is what came into my head.
So what's your answer, Swan?
Sometimes.
Rarely for me.
Often? Rarely? Ronz, you're a good waiter?
I guess if it's your turn, I guess if it's waiting your turn to speak.
Yo. Ronz, you're a good waiter. You wait in line really well. Like waiting at Disneyland, oh my god, that's like the longest line ever.
I waited in line 3 hours one time for a damn roller coaster that they said no one could ride on because it broke down. But it was one of the, was it the Millennium Force or the Millennium G at Cedar Point?
The Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, and
no, the Millennium
it was
Force.
it was the first G-Force roller coaster in America, I think.
And then it broke, and you never even got to ride it anyway.
Yeah, it sucked. I waited in line for that. I really did. And they're like, "Well, we're gonna fix it." Nope. So I waited in line for a long time for that.
I'm impatient with waiting in line. I'm not gonna lie. I would. You know what? I would never wait in line for Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I won't. No,
that line is always too long. Like, why am I gonna wait in line and pay for food that's probably not even good? Never even had it, but don't even care. Don't want to wait in that line. No matter how efficient you are. When there's 2 lines that wrap around the store, I'm not going to wait in line.
Wild.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, come on, B-Man. What's the next question?
Yeah, why are you waiting so long?
Oh, sorry.
We paused. You can go.
You know, one of the requirements on the podcast is he goes, Ronz, you need to, watch what you say because, you got filler words or fill in the dead air. So why do I talk? I'm filling in the dead air. So.
You have verbal diarrhea. That's why.
There we go.
Ronz, if you had no choice but to change your name, what name would you give yourself?
Ooh, how about the Swan Beaveman? That'd be so cool.
No, don't.
So lame.
I mean,
so
don't be lame.
Oh,
I mean, I am cool, but.
Honestly, I hadn't thought about it.
You've never wanted a new name. I did. I mean, we won't say my name, but it's kind of like Rumpelstiltskin and all, and I hated it growing up. Like, my friend was like, Jennifer. I'm like, why can't I just be a Jennifer?
Well,
I don't really think like I look like a Jennifer.
My name is unique because once I found the name, what my name meant, I really did.
Wait, how's it unique? You're like number 4.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm actually the second.
And your son is the third?
Yes, he is.
Is he going to name his kid the 4th?
If that's what he chooses.
Well, have you had that discussion yet? When you carry down the family name, name him?
Honestly, I mean, do you expect the daughter or the son to carry on the names that you want them to have or what they would like?
Well, I mean, if you're a second and a third, then it kind of comes with the territory.
Well, once again, we didn't have a name picked out for a boy, and we went with that. So, and we called him RJ, so he was able to have his own identity per se, right? So everybody knows him as RJ, but he's been called by his real name by his friends and close friends.
Okay, all right. Last question.
Okay.
Wow.
What are we gonna do when we get through with this then?
Well, we have like 10 seconds left, so I guess nothing.
Well, then I guess we did a good job of filling up the podcast.
Yeah, verbal diarrhea.
Well,
I did want to have time to actually talk about it, but that's
Ronz
fine.
and I can talk while you can calculate.
And if you haven't already calculated,
it's called I already did it.
Oh, see? Then we were just giving you time to calculate as we were going
It's not hard
on.
to calculate.
Well, what's the last question? Okay. You keep pulling it
How
out.
often do you interrupt others when they are busy?
Often.
Sometimes.
I probably should change mine to very often.
Sometimes.
That seems like the best time to have a conversation. Like, as soon as others start doing things, like, hey, do you want to hang out with me? What are you doing right now? Maybe I'm just lonely.
Sometimes.
And I want to be around people.
Unless it's very, very, very important or it's life-threatening. But it's sometimes.
So, excuse me, officer. I know there's a down power line. Do you need any help?
Excuse me, officer.
I'm not going to interrupt or anything.
I know you look busy over there.
In the way. Do you want me to help you survey the scene?
Oh, wow. She pulled that out of nowhere. Way to go, Swans. Way to go. I like that.
Okay, Ron.
So why all these questions? Here we go.
Ronz, you are bona fide crazy, and you didn't even know you were getting psychoanalyzed. Well, you didn't know you were getting psychoanalyzed, but
Ronz, you really most likely do have ADD.
What?
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 What? Ronz, you should have a discussion with your doctor about your symptoms of ADD, ADHD.
I am having a discussion with the doctor right now.
True.
Not
saying that you
advice.
Have it, but in this reporting scale, there's indications that you probably.
Does anybody not have ADD?
Yes, I don't.
Oh, like hell you don't.
I would not have answered these. I would not.
Yeah, you wouldn't have not answered any of these questions because we would have asked
You're gonna not answer them the honest way because you don't want to be diagnosed.
No, I
don't have a problem. You do. I don't have a problem. You do. Right?
No, I've done the scale. I don't really. No, I wouldn't.
Honestly,
Ron. So how do you name your pets? Back to that.
Now, autism. Like if it was an autism one, I'm sure I would come up.
I'm probably up that one
but
too.
Not on this ADHD.
I look for the weirdest name.
Can I get through this? Can I get?
Wait, I wanted to know before I forgot. I wanted to know how Ron's names his pets.
I look for a name that befits.
I'd say for the Slaptail Squad, I am the Beaveman.
No, we're not even done yet.
I look for a name that.
What are your current pets' names?
I look for a name that befits the breed, and I go from there, right? Or
as a golden retriever, I will name you Goldie.
You named your wiener dog. Wiener dog.
Well, no, I also go for the more obscure names. Like when I trained a German Shepherd, I had a German Shepherd for 12, 13 years, and when I trained him under the name Ringo, and
like from the Beatles.
Yeah. Long story short, I got him right. Long story short, the owner gave him to me, and I said, "You know what?
Wait a minute. So you trained somebody else's dog?
Yeah, I'm
for 13 years.
No, stop.
You trained somebody else's dog for 13 years.
You know what? You don't want me to get into the story right now because you go, I've only got 10 minutes, so. Long story short, I got ownership of the dog, and I looked at him, and I said, you're not a Ringo, you're a Bloodfang. So I named him Bloodfang.
That's a really easy one to yell throughout the neighborhood. Bloodfang! Where are you, Bloodfang?
And of course, you guys had a German Shepherd, too. And when you see
Yeah, we didn't give it a stupid name.
What did you name your dog?
Bailey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what? Everybody's got their own preferences, but when you...
Stop touching your swing arm.
Okay, if that's what you want to call my penis, okay. But when you see,
why are you touching your penis right now?
Why are you touching your penis?
Talking about Bloodfang.
No, I mean, if I gotta tell you not to touch, see all that noise he makes.
That was the chair. But if you call Bailey, and here comes the German Shepherd, no one moves. But when you yell Bloodfang or Bone Ripper,
I didn't even have to call my dog for people to freak out.
Yeah, first of all, I think if you call your dog Bloodfang and other people hear you, they think you're a moron.
No, my dog was my dog. But that was my name and my dog. Nobody else's. No one else had to live with that name. I did.
Douchebag.
Your dog was like, I wish I could be Ringo. I wish I could talk because I like Ringo much better.
That was Carrie's baby. That was Carrie's baby.
The dog was like, that's not my name, dude.
That was
like, my name is Ringo. Don't call me.
That was Carrie's baby. I mean, when we got Bloodfang as a puppy, and that was Carrie's baby. I came back from England and.
Great story. Can I wrap up this?
Yes. So, do I have ADHD?
So why did you name Sammy Sam?
Her name is Samantha. Oh, okay. Her middle name is Butterbear.
Butterbear? Why?
She's golden. Because she's golden, like Butterbear.
Oh, I've never heard of like Butterbear, but okay.
She's named after the coffee from Big B.
Butterbear. Oh. Yeah. She's so cute.
She is. She's
soft. Okay, do I have ADD?
Well, can I finish with Ronz?
Yes.
Ronz.
Yes, sir.
The first part of the test is the more of the diagnostic one. And if you have at least 4 answers in the gray shaded boxes, which you do, there is a need for that. You should probably have a discussion with your doctor about your probable ADD. Not that you have ADHD, but you also have a fair amount of questions answered that would kind of show you what type you have in the second section. So, Swan, you do not
cut out on that one for me.
Indications. What was what? Cut out where?
The last part of that.
He missed the whole part of it. He wasn't.
No,
paying attention.
I was.
I know we didn't hear it.
Oh, don't tell him I didn't pay attention because that's just going to fuel the ADHD.
We can't fuel your ADHD.
In the first part of the test, you have enough symptoms marked that would warrant that are highly consistent with ADHD in adults. The second part of the test that you answered would support the diagnosis of whether it's a hyperactivity component with it as well.
So he has ADHD?
That's not what I said. Oh. I did not say he had either thing. What I said was...
It's highly suggestive?
It's highly suggestive.
Okay. What do I have? You neurotic.
Swan, you do not. However, if I was scoring this with you as your provider, I would suspect that you actually have some sort of a compulsive disorder.
Ooh. Like what? Like compulsive?
Like sleeping?
Like you got a tick. Do I just have hyperactivity? No, I don't.
You have some sort of a hyperactive component.
Like mania. Like I'm mania.
No, you're not manic. You don't have mania, you freaking dumb.
So where did you get this test from?
I would also suspect that I don't really think Swan has ADD or ADHD because she's been able to accomplish way too much. So I don't think that's possible.
What do I do with all my...
I think that she has some sort of compulsive tendencies.
Like I'm a hoarder.
Like you're freaking, you don't ever sit still. You interrupt people constantly. You constantly interrupt people. You can't,
I'm
the minute somebody talks,
I do.
the minute somebody talks, you are automatically thinking of what you're going to say, whether it has anything to do with the conversation or not.
That's totally true.
But isn't that one of the symptoms of ADHD?
Apparently not.
It is, but she has enough positive answers that she would still get screened for it from a psychologist. Yeah. You both do.
Oh, well, Swan, we're either
bonus.
We're either OCD or
overachievers.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
Where did you get this test from?
It's a standard screening test that we use in the medical field in primary care. It's a standard screening test.
Wow. All right.
Well, Ronz, should we take our ADD test together? Should we make our psychology appointment together?
Sure, why not?
We can carpool.
Yeah. Why not? We could do that. We could.
It's really sad. What's actually really sad when you think about it, though, is that people who actually have ADD or ADHD, if you actually went to a doctor to talk about it, even if you had a positive screening test, they probably wouldn't even believe you unless you went to see a psychologist and were totally screened. Because most primary care is like, I don't really want to give somebody treatment for ADD, ADHD.
I told my doctor that, and he was like, "No, you don't have ADD." I'm like, dude, I can't even sit still.
So on these questions,
I'm not to bust on my doctor, but he doesn't. He couldn't feel my 7-centimeter fibroid either. Not gonna lie, bigger than a grapefruit. Can't feel it.
With these questions, you didn't give me a chance to think about my answer because I would have probably I
don't think you're supposed to think about your
if you think about your answer, then you talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, and therefore I wouldn't have ADHD. I'd probably have OCD.
You can have both.
Wow.
Yeah. When you have a diagnosis, that doesn't mean you have just one. You can have lots of diagnoses.
Oh, so there's still hope for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah, and yourself.
I'm going to actually say no. Actually, no, there's no hope for anybody, honestly.
Cool. That's cool.
That's depressing.
So what made you decide on these questions today?
We were just having fun with asking questions.
Right. Cool. And speaking of...
Why are you thinking about it too much?
Yeah, that's true.
Now he's going to go read all about ADD because he told him he possibly has ADD.
I was hoping to...
Were you on Ritalin as a child, Ronz?
I never took any type of medication as a child.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
So I was hoping to see Tremonde and the follow-up on the Star Wars thing because I really...
Except you knew that we weren't doing that. So why do you always you ever notice that Ronz always talks about people that are not on the podcast as if there was some plan for them to be on the podcast, even though it's like he doesn't read the text.
No, I read the text because you didn't confirm on the time until very recently. I read my notes on top of that
because we kept asking you what time you wanted to do it, Ronz.
Yeah,
why do you always? Why is it that
I said between?
Why is it that nobody else? Why are you the only one who seems to not understand the text messages between everybody? Everybody else gets it, but you. You're the one who's always consistently confused.
His voicemail isn't even set up.
It's okay.
Yeah, why don't you even set up your voicemail?
You know what?
No, don't read the text back because it always makes you look stupid. It always makes you look stupid.
No, I'm going to solve the problem.
And when you don't get back to people's texts for days, then you wonder why everybody else is like, dude, read the fucking text.
No, I get back to the text within 8 hours.
No, dude, you do not get.
Right.
And you think that that's how texting works when people are trying to coordinate stuff.
Okay. All right. So, you know what?
He has 72 hours to respond.
The thing is, no matter what I say here, no matter what I do, the Beaveman's going to twist it. I'm wrong, completely wrong, so I have to accept this. So I will accept it.
Yeah, but you consistently do the same thing and say the same stuff. And we're like, how come you can't understand the flow of the texting that is done between the group?
Group texts are hard.
No. You know what? I'll go with the Swan. However, I will take responsibility for this just to shut the Beaveman up. And here's the reason. I actually have 2 group texts with Tremonde and the Beaveman, and one separately, I think, with just the Beaveman. So I'm going to cancel them both out, and then it'll be that.
And then he'll never receive a text again because nobody's phone number is stored in his phone. He's just going to wait till random numbers.
What I find interesting is that you bring up this same complaint every time, but you are so slow to respond to everybody when we're trying to coordinate things. And I keep telling you guys, just respond right away so we can coordinate stuff. But yet you bring up this same topic every time. And then you have the nerve to ask me why I'm screening you for ADD and ADHD.
Okay, first of all, right? I have the text.
Fill in the blanks, dude.
I have the text in
front
of me. Fill in the blanks.
Right? That might be why.
Yeah, right. You didn't tell me when you wanted to do this podcast today.
Because we were asking you, Ronz. And I said you're the one who gave us a time.
I said between,
and then we confirmed it. We were trying to confirm it with you.
Yeah, and when I said after 5, you're like, oh, and then it was dead silent, and no one gave me a time. So I'm like, okay,
yeah, because we're still waiting for you to give us a time. Well, you're the one who said after 5. You're the only one who gave a time.
So that tells me that I was on board, but you guys weren't. I was trying to figure out where you guys needed me.
No, Ronz.
Okay, no. You know what? This is like arguing with my dad.
Time flows differently in Ronz's
clearly your dad is much. He's often right.
Dead.
Then apparently, that's
so arguing with.
Then why are you talking to him and having arguments with him?
Oh.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter.
Just say you're right.
You are absolutely right. Okay, cool.
I just find it funny that this is a consistent issue with the Ronz.
You know what?
And then he has the nerve to ask me why I'm screening him for ADD and ADHD.
You just want to screen me for something other than herpes. Because
we don't want to do a prostate exam either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, this has been a rather confusing podcast, and it was entertaining for me, though. Thank you.
Okay, so
no problem.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, don't even talk about the text messages, Ronz, because you're just going to make yourself look stupid.
I've got
He's like, oh wait, now I just figured out that I was really wrong.
No, I was right. I know.
Do you talk to telemarketers when they call?
Actually, I do.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Just because I want to know what they're up to.
All right, well, I'm ready to make some dinner here. So,
ooh, what's for dinner?
Thank you so much, Slaptail Nation, for listening to this great podcast with my 2 squad members,
favorites,
the Swan and the Ronz.
Yay!
And look forward to the next one because you guessed it, we're going to be hitting the next movie in the original Star Wars trilogy, which for some reason I kept referring to Return of the Jedi last week, and it's not. It's Empire Strikes Back. Even though I kept correcting myself.
Star Wars card, come on.
So we will be doing Empire Strikes Back, and with the Tremonde, and that will probably be a 2-parter, and we'll see how much more Tremonde loves the Star Wars universe.
I'm sure he's going to love it. Okay, so I didn't interrupt. Weren't you proud of me?
And that's it for me.
I am the Swan. Bye from the Swan.
And the Ronz. Hey.
Adios, booch fuckos.